In today's brief video, I want to take a moment and talk to you guys about the problems with trying to use willpower when it comes to stopping smoking weed, stopping drinking alcohol, stopping watching adult media content. This could apply to gambling as well, to really breaking away from any substance use or any bad behavior or habit, okay? And then after we talk about the problems with trying to use willpower, I want to try and provide you with some solutions or alternatives to using willpower to quit. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name's Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, substances I once struggled with. To learn more, check out the pinned comment or the video description for both paid and free program resources. All right, problem number one with trying to use willpower in order to quit smoking weed or quit drinking alcohol is you don't actually need it. So it's like you're reaching for a tool in your toolbox that doesn't apply to the job or the task at hand. And the reason I say this is because there's a chance that this video found you, or that you took the time to find this video, how to quit smoking weed, weed withdrawals, whatever brought you here. And that means that you want to stop. You're actively trying to stop consuming the substance, whatever that substance may be. And you don't need willpower to stop doing something that you, in all actuality, in all reality, don't want to be doing anymore. You don't need willpower to stop doing something that you don't want to be doing anymore. Let me give you an example. Recently, I was at a birthday party for someone and they had cake. And I'm currently on, trying to tone up and lose some weight. It's summertime. And they had chocolate cake. Now, I don't like chocolate, and I have no desire or no want to eat chocolate cake. There's some chocolate I like, but I don't like chocolate cake. I much prefer vanilla. Okay, so now in this instance, I don't need to use willpower to resist eating that dessert because I don't want it. I know I have no interest in chocolate cake. I don't need to use an ounce of willpower to resist eating it. Now, maybe if it was vanilla cake, I would have had to use a little bit of willpower to say no. But in the case of chocolate cake, it's a substance that I don't want. It's something that I don't like. It's something that I don't desire. I have no interest in consuming it. If you're watching this video, you don't want to be smoking weed anymore. You don't want to be drinking alcohol anymore. You don't want to be consuming said substance, whatever it may be. And that does not require willpower. It requires determination. It requires practice of saying no over and over again. It requires persistence, right, in your decision, in your commitment to stop. But it does not require willpower. And if you're using willpower to quit smoking weed, there's a really good chance that when you speak to yourself about it, you say something like this: oh, I'm quitting smoking weed, or I'm quitting drinking alcohol, which would imply that you're going through this process of quitting. It would also imply that you're depriving yourself of something. Oh, I really want to have a drink, but I can't, I quit. I really would love to have a smoke with you, but I can't, I quit. That implies that you're depriving yourself of something, which would then imply that you perceive some benefit to that substance use. Actual benefit or perceived benefit, I don't know. So when we speak like that, I'm quitting, I would love to have a smoke, I would really want to smoke, but I can't because I'm quitting, we need to use willpower to go through that process. And that's going to make for a very painful, very long, drawn-out quitting process. There's a big difference between saying I'm quitting smoking weed, but I would love a smoke, and I stopped smoking weed, I don't care to smoke. There's a big difference between those two phrases. In phrase number one, I'm quitting smoking weed, I would love to smoke, that person is going to have to rely on willpower. And willpower is like a muscle, okay? Every time we use willpower, we drain it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And that's a major problem. I'll tell you where I see that become a problem for people. So they do really good in the beginning of the day, and then as the day goes on, their willpower's decreased because of all these little decisions that they had to make throughout the course of the day, or big decisions that they had to make, and that willpower meter gets drained. And then by the end of the night, they're either smoking weed or they're giving into one of several other vices: watching adult media content, online gambling, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, other behaviors that maybe they didn't want to be doing, but now they're falling victim to because they drained all of their willpower in the process of quitting smoking weed, in the process of depriving themselves of something that you or I once thought that I was under the delusion of thinking that I actually wanted to consume it. Okay, so that's going to require willpower. It's going to get drained throughout the course of the day, and it's going to make you more susceptible to the consumption of other bad behaviors, vices, substances, habits, whatever you want to refer to them as, addictions, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now person number two who says, I stopped smoking weed, and person number two who says, I've stopped smoking weed, I have no desire for it, has come to a conclusion, and that conclusion is that cannabis, in this case that's what we're talking about, has no longer provided them with any actual benefit. They don't enjoy it anymore. They don't care to partake in it anymore. They have zero interest in it. And they stopped. They are done with it. Stopping doing something that you don't want to be doing anymore requires zero willpower. But if you're constantly fighting the urge to smoke, if you're constantly going back and forth in your head, one more time, not one more time, I'm going to smoke during this event, no, during that event, you're going to constantly be using willpower, and it's going to drain you. And if you're doing this, if you're quitting with the willpower method, because I've tried many times to quit via willpower, I promise you in some way, shape, or form, it's impacting some other aspect of your life in a negative manner. Maybe it's draining you in your decisions within your business or within your role in your work are declining. Maybe it's taking away from the mental capacity that you have when it comes to your husband, your wife, or your children. I promise you, if you're going through the process of willpower all day long because of some perceived benefit of substance use, and you're depriving yourself and you're in the process of quitting, you're going to feel drained, exhausted, and you're wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy on something that you don't even want to be doing anymore, on something that you don't even like to partake in anymore. It's actually wild when you start to think about this. And when you start to make sense of it, compared to the person who says, I stopped, I'm done, I understand that I don't have a desire for it. Let's take quitting alcohol. Do you really have to use willpower to resist having a hangover, intoxicating your liver, and wake up feeling like crap the next day? Let's take quitting weed. Do you really have to use willpower to stop smoking weed, start breathing better, start getting back your energy, start getting back your motivation, start reclaiming your time, start getting your money back in your bank account that you've been spending? Do you really have to use willpower to achieve all of those very good outcomes of stopping substance use? Let's say it's adult media content. Do you really have to use willpower to stop watching adult media content? Do you really have to use willpower to not watch that video so you don't have to deal with the guilt and the shame and the disgust that in many cases comes for people after watching adult media content? Do you really have to use willpower to accomplish any of those positive things? And the answer in most cases is going to be no. And how do we get here? It comes from a shift in mindset. The other major issue that we have when it comes to using willpower is people think that they'll say to themselves, oh, I don't have good willpower. And they'll be like, I've never had good willpower. They'll just keep reaffirming that to themselves over and over again. And then it just becomes an excuse for continued substance abuse, substance use, whatever you want to call it. Instead, you're much better off relying on determination. You're much better off focusing on discipline, persistence, and repetition of good, positive behaviors over and over again. How do you build determination? How do you build persistence? How do you build commitment? You make a decision, you commit to that decision, and then you see it through, hell or high water, no matter the circumstances. And then those things are also going to grow and develop and become stronger. Stop reaching for a tool. It's like you're reaching for a hammer when you need a screwdriver, right? Like, it's not gonna work. And that's why willpower fails so many people time and time again. And the change starts in your mindset, how you're talking to yourself. Are you quitting smoking weed, or did you make the decision to stop smoking weed, right? Do you really want to have a smoke, or are you crystal clear on the fact that you actually don't want to smoke? It's all a shift in mindset. If that's something that you need help with, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description to learn about our one-on-one paid coaching programs. We also have a ton of free resources. And look, I'll be honest, yes, in the beginning, quitting does require a little bit of willpower because when we first quit, it's foggy upstairs in our head, right? It's a little bit delusional. Do I actually want to stop drinking? Do I not? I thought it was fun. Maybe it was fun. Okay? And that can be stressful. We make a supplement, Kick It, Crave Less Chewing Gum. You can find it right here on YouTube shopping below. And it's a chewing gum with KSM-66 ashwagandha and NAC, N-acetylcysteine. NAC helps to reduce cravings, and KSM-66 ashwagandha has a bunch of benefits, but one of my favorites is helping to improve a person's stress tolerance, okay? Because yes, in the beginning, quitting substances is both physically and psychologically somewhat stressful on the body. KSM-66 ashwagandha helps to offset that stress. We sell a 30 count, a 90 count, and then a 3-pack. The 3-pack is a 3-month supply of chewing gum at 3 pieces a day of gum, okay? 3 months is the gold standard when it comes to quitting substances because that's about how much time it takes for those receptors and things like that in your body, your dopamine and serotonin and all that stuff to rebalance. So if you just need a little boost, check out the chewing gum, Kick It, Crave Less chewing gum. Consider the 90 count, which is a month supply, or the 3-pack, which is the 3-month supply. Or if it's the mindset that's broken and you're not actually clear on where you stand, check out the one-on-one coaching calls or our coaching options below. Until next time.